Well, it's high time to mount the LED boards inside the case. But there's not a trick to it, but some things to consider. I mean, we are looking here from from the view of an exposed board down, and that's my zero edge, which I would like to use for aligning the board and the transparent film where the traces are printed on. And of course, mounting the board that way or somewhere here would be not a good idea, because then at the edges your exposure intensity, the light intensity, would be too bad. So I need, I need to place a board so that the top row is exactly the center of the LEDs on the top row is exactly lining up with this edge, and the second row inwards is exactly lining up with that edge. And the reason why I'll explain in a minute. So why exactly that alignment? Let me draw some circles here around the center of the LEDs. So I can show you. And you will see these, we're now creating exactly the patterns we already seen when I did that exposure test with a breadboard in the first video of the series. Card here, link down in the description. And I only need circles around the outer LEDs. So, and remember, the single LED will give you the greatest light intensity exactly in the center, and it's dropping down if you go away outwards from an LED. But we saw approximately such a pattern. And yeah, of course, inside, where you have at any point at least 4 neighboring LEDs, 3 or 4 neighboring LEDs, wherever you are. Here at the edge, that's not the case. And maybe you could go a little bit outwards with the edge of the glass. But I'm not taking that risk. I know that in here, we're exactly on the line between 2 LEDs. Everything in the center was completely uniform. So for that row of LEDs, I will put the edge of the glass here. And you see, you probably cannot read it, but that's 1.1 inch away from the edge of the board. And here I'm clearly not going over this line because, yeah, here a point would be very lonesome. I mean, these LEDs are quite far away. You would have that LED, but yeah, no. So the edge of the glass should go down here, and inside here I'm pretty sure the exposure intensity is yeah, quite uniform, and that would be okay, that's cut off in the print, 0.8 inch from the edge of the board, I think. I will look it up. Or was it 0.6 inch? I'm not quite sure in the moment, but I have a trouble here. No. Give me a second. I'll look it up. Better safe than sorry. Okay. It's actually 0.6 inch in that dimension and zero point 0.1 in that dimension away from the edge of the board. Okay, and now I have to place the boards inside that old scanner case, and yeah, measuring that out might be a bit tricky. Now, measuring where that corner exactly projects down in the case was a little bit of pain in the ass, and I hope I got it right. No guarantees here, but I have two reference points. This is one reference point in the reference line. One reference line is that small plastic ridge here. So I think I've got that, yeah, from your point vertical edge of the glass. How far is that apart from that plastic ridge? And for the lower, from your point of view, horizontal edge of the glass, I hope I was able to measure it to the, you know, this edge here, where this is this sunken part of the plastic case. And yeah, just remember that edge and that hole here, and we go back to a little bit of paperwork. So you remember the here on that side we need to stay 0.6 inches away from the edge of the glass, and on the top we need to stay away with the board edge just 1.0 inches. And that leads to this drawing. Here's the ridge I just showed you, and here is that sunken part in the case. And I measured the glass edge, that's just the broken line here and here, to be, and now I switch to millimeters, sorry, because I'm no longer doing board layout, 4.5 millimeters from that ridge and 8.5 millimeters downwards from that sunken part. And we know our board edge, that's a double broken line, is 0.6 inches from the board layout, so 15.24 millimeters away from the edge of the glass. So I need to stay away from that sunken part 23.74 millimeters. Yeah, okay, a tenth of millimeters, okay, but I don't work in that case to a hundredth of a millimeter or in thous, okay. Same on the ridge, 4.5 millimeters, the edge of the glass is away from the ridge, the board has to stay 0.1 inches, so 2.54 millimeters away from the edge of the glass. So the edge of the board needs to be 1.96 millimeters away from the edge. And that's very nice because that means the ridge, which is, it goes up again, is away from my board. So I don't have to worry about that. So I try to, mark that corner from here and from that little ridge here as best as I could. Yeah. But before finally placing the boards in here, maybe I should put them together. And you remember from the layout that there is here some markings I did for, and I already found that out for 3 little boards to solder them together using some soldering pins. Yeah, soldering pins. Okay, turns out that 50 millimeter spacers with, can you see that, 2 washers are perfect to compensate for that step here, and I'm quite lucky. I will, for marking, put that into the case later on. In that, with my holes I put into the board, and you remember I put quite a lot in them, that I actually, can go around all the ridges and stuff here. You probably could have designed it right away. But yeah, too much hassle. Just do a few more holes and it's fine. So yeah, all my standoffs are standing on a nice flat piece of plastic. Do they? Yes, they do. And I can use here the second row. Yeah, well, 1, 2. Yeah, the second row, and here the last row. And it will be fine. It will be even symmetrical from the spacing. And I like such stuff if it's symmetrical. Okay, let me put in some more paper for marking, because marking on plastic is quite and then start drilling the holes. But before that, last check. So I adjusted my iPad so that this corner is exactly under the center of the lens. Okay. So we are looking straight down to avoid any parallax error. And if you look at it, you see I'm actually here regarding to my goal wee bit off. Yeah, so the center of the LEDs is maybe 0.05 inches off. And yeah, that row of LEDs could also go a little bit, to the left. Here. Okay, I corrected that a little bit. In fact, Uh, I'm now aligning the board here at that little plastic ridge. And yeah, I also moved it a little bit this way, and yeah, this looks good. I will fix it that way. So, marking the holes was really a pain in the ass, and somehow, yeah, a guesstimate, and actually, one hole was exactly above a recess initially. So, yeah, it hurts me, but I had to break my symmetry here a wee bit. Oh, well. Okay, let's drill. But before that, I just remembered on the other side of this area is a power supply board. So maybe I should get that out first. Besides, here's also metal, so that's not that easy to drill. Yeah, I really struggled to get some wood under there, so I can really exert pressure, and I guess since mostly you will see my hand and I don't really like to change perspective, I will just drill the holes now and yeah, get you back in when the holes are done. So that was quite a mess, but I managed to have my 1, 2, 3, and that was the one I had to reposition because it was initially going down here. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, and you see this is a wee bit bigger and not so nice, and the reason for that is that quite a number of these holes, of course, had to end up not only in plastic but also here in steel. Yeah, believe me, that was a bummer to drill. Yeah, that one here was alright because metal all around. This only half metal. Yeah, that was a little bit touch and go. And I have something similar here, being lucky that there was a big ridge of plastic, plastic reinforcement that counteracts a little bit the forces on the drill, so I could get it in quite nicely. And yeah, here I ended up on the reinforcing plastic ridge, and yeah, I guess I don't try to fiddle around here, but be happy that I can get a screw in. Yeah, talking about getting the screws in, so my strategy will be I loosen these up so that they can wiggle a little bit. Then I put in, yeah, wiggle, wiggle. Then I put in the 2 top screws, here loosely, very loosely, and then I'll try to, yeah, to put in the screws from behind into the standoffs. Yeah, I'll get you back when I finished with it, because most you will see my hairy arms. Yeah, I finally got everything in, and it was not really a tight fit. Worked quite well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You see I used different screws, different color, black, white nylon, white nylon, and 3 black and 1 white, because the whites are quite long and the blacks were too short where there's more material. And yeah, I did in the end cut out here so that the screw head would be flush with the material and that kneel over or something like that. And yeah, the nice thing about nylon screws, zooming out. The nice thing about nylon screws, you can easily cut them to length. Yeah, that's a pro, isn't it? Wonderful. Let's power the baby up and have a look what it's doing. So let's see if the thing is working. Okay. Wonderful. I'll try to give you a look from above. Okay. So, 1 second. Very nice. And now, yeah, maybe I should test if the illumination here is really homogeneous. Yeah, I know. Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, I put a white sheet of... sorry. I have to fix the exposure. Give me a second. Yeah, I put a white sheet of paper on it. I thought I fixed the exposure. So a white sheet of paper, I think in the outlines. And here you see the pattern I was talking about. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And here also at the borders. But here exactly is, yeah, at the very top is the edge of the glass, and here's the edge of the glass, and it's very homogeneous. I can play a little bit with the exposure, but yeah, you see that pattern again on the borders, but nothing special. And what you see now is hopefully just the structure of the paper. I mean, we can test this if I simply turn the paper around. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, only actually exposing some boards with that UV source will reveal if, yeah, everything is really working. In theory, now, I mean, I can switch it on and off, no problem. I could do that now, but yeah, for the moment, ooh, oh, it's looking red, huh? Just a sec. For the moment, I have to decide where and how to put the user interface in. There are quite some constraints regarding that because of that metal bracket, but Yeah, and all the curves and stuff. But yeah, he has at least some flat spots. So yeah, we'll see what I can do or not. Until then, bye.